Hey Aquarius, Tourmaline Tarot. We're going to do your September 2022 reading. I have no idea where the time went. If the reading's for you, you'll know. If it's not for you, you'll also know. So keep that in mind, all right? We're starting it off with kind of like a relationship read with the Oracle. It just was like, do it. And I don't argue when they say do it. So let's see. 1, 2. Oh, there she is. Okay. So in the middle, you got the train tracks. That's a nice way. Go in there. So, kind of like the big theme is getting everything to go in the right direction. You know, it simultaneously. You know, you could be all going in the right direction, but like someone has a 5-minute head start. Someone back here has they slept in, they hit the snooze button too much, whatever it may be. But the train track, you want a train to stay on the tracks. Off the tracks, bad. Don't do that. It's literally called derailing, so don't derail. Because over here, obviously something is important. You have the ring, which can speak to cycles, relationships, commitments, etc. But with the safe, there's an element of there's just overall looking at the spread there's like a gravity, there's like an importance to it, but also there's either a need to open up or there's some kind of combination of stuff. You know how you have to do the tumblers and you hear the little clicks and you're on the right number? I feel like those numbers, the combination hasn't been cracked yet. Because you have the home and then you have the whip over here. So this is the other side of the equation. There's some more I hate to say discipline, but with the whip, there is a crackdown. I'm not getting the petty business because the house is a positive card. It's not like you got the whip and the swords, you know what I mean? So it is still a positive connotation here. But there needs to be more discipline in the approach, in kind of I'm hearing routines and I'm not contribution, but you know what I mean? Like everything has to kind of keep up a pace. Everything has to keep up a schedule. Literally trains have schedules. They know when the station's coming. They know this train's coming at 7:18 on this line, be there. Track A, whatever it may be. There's routines, schedules, commitment part that has to happen. And I feel like there's trying, but there's not proper execution yet, because maybe the communication, the challenge is the letter. So there is kind of communication, not holding it up. It's not necessarily a barrier, but it's one of those things where, devil's in the details kind of thing. If someone says it's train's coming at 7:18, track A, someone heard track B and they're on the wrong track, but they're still trying to do the right thing at the right time. You know what I mean? So there's kind of the detailed junk stuff could be slipping through. Even if the intentions are there, it's still yeah. That could be the challenge. But with the anchor, there is it does kind of congeal, oh, I hate the word congeal, but it does come together in terms of the grounding. I feel like it does come together. There is mutual stuff. Just like I said, there's just detail stuff. There's a refining that has to happen. So over on the ring and the safe side, yeah, so there's an end. There is a change. This is kind of like the death card in terms of there's a change, which is nice, right? So let's see. The star. Yes. So there is a shift in, like I said, the detail stuff. How you have to just hit the numbers just right when you crack a lock or you open a safe. If you miss that number just a little bit, it's not going to open. But I feel it kind of like a light bulb moment. Because with the house and the whip, yeah, so this is going to sound like a jerk thing to say, but somebody has to kind of manage expectations. Because the ship is everything you're longing for. It also takes a little bit of time and everything. But with the broken mirror, there is it's kind of like a hangman energy. You might have to kind of be well, I'm not just saying it is what it is or just shut up and settle. or if this is you or the other side. It doesn't really, you have to kind of pick which side resonates more for you. But there is someone's got to manage expectations. Like, it's not lickety split overnight. Also, I'm not saying sacrifice your, like, no, just keep, taking crap. It's fine. But you know what I mean? It's like, if someone's doing their best, like, it might take a little more time for them to, like I said, someone has like a 5-minute head start and somebody's still hitting snooze, and you're like, come on. Because with this train track, what is kind of the theme? It's kind of getting stuff together. There's a lot of emotion behind it. It's not for lack of trying, I don't think. So, yeah. Usually with the snake, if anything, I'm not saying like this is like a root cause or whatever, but does somebody feel like an imbalance in the relationship where somebody is like better off than the other person, or like there's a little bit of envy, like you get to do what you want to do, or like you get to, you know what I mean? There's that. But also when snakes grow, they have to shed their skin, right? So you need to kind of take that into account. It's like, let's shed some skin time. That sounds awful, but you know what I mean. It's like you're outgrowing a particular thing. So let's outgrow any kind of underlying, like, well, you get to do whatever you want. I don't know why I don't get to, you know what I mean? So like, let's get over that hurdle. How are we going to do that? The clover. Once again, it's a little bit of time, a little bit of managing expectations. You kind of get a couple road signs that pop up from you. Like, I don't know, something kind of pings where you're like, okay, we're going in the right direction. Whatever that may be for you. So with the anchor, what are we talking about here? Like, you're going to get pings. There's something that's kind of a surprising thing. I'm not saying like it proves it, but it's evidence, and I'm not talking like crime scene exhibit A. I'm talking like, you're like, oh, that's confirmation. Oh, that's validation. And it starts showing up. Because like I said, with the ship, things take longer than probably what you want. So remember, this could be, like I said, you were the other person reading it like a scale, but there is like a manage expectations thing. Kind of all around, really. But there is, like I said, there's going to be like validation that kind of comes out of nowhere, and you're like, whoa, hey, what? And you almost might be a smidge mistrusting of it, because the lion is like the surprise card, but the lion kind of roars back like, what'd you say? What'd you say, universe? It is that kind of like, wait, did that just happen? One of those things. So with the communication, if there's any kind of chatter, any kind of static, this is also internet stuff. So if you're texting, emailing, whatever it may be, remember how I said there's like a level of potentially being misconstrued, or something is like the devil details kind of situation. Keep that in mind, because if that's the hitch in the giddy up, because the birds, it's fast, but in the quickness of it, like I said, things can get dropped, things can get moved, you can kind of forget certain things. So just watch when you're communicating. Like, there needs to be a little bit more deliberateness to it. So, moving on to the tarot. Let's see what we got going on for September. I'm trying to read this as more general, but sometimes the relationship goes on into it. So let's see what we got going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Now you won't. There it is. Okay. That's what we wanted. All right. So doing a 9er on this one. Oh, these two wanted to come out, so we're doing it. At the center, we have the Empress reversed. I don't think this is a bad card considering the other stuff around it, okay? It just means that something isn't growing, and we've kind of established that before. And this doesn't have to necessarily be just relationships. This could be, there's some kind of, and reversals don't mean there's a block or it's never going to happen. It just means it's a not yet. It's a not yet. So, Empress reversed. we need to kind of like jumpstart some stuff. We need to kind of water some things, handle some biz before we get into it, because we have the Hierophant in the corners. We have the Three of Cups reversed with the King of Cups, Hanged Man, and then the Knight of Cups reversed. So there is an element of trying to figure out how we're going to do this stuff with the Hierophant. What's the right way? How are we going to do this? But with the Three of Cups reversed and the King of Cups, there's a kind of a need to, I hate to say dial down the fun, but there is a need to be like, you can have fun, but you might need to kind of take control of it and be like, no, let's King of Cups this. Like, let's kind of, I hate to say buckle down, but there is more of like a no, there's a perspective needed on this, the Hanged Man. It's also a slower card, so it might take a little bit for that to actually kind of kick in, especially with the Empress reversed. It's like, do the groundwork and, so the garden can grow, literally. Knight of Cups reversed. There is a not moving ahead in some way. There's kind of like a holdback. So it's like the holdback could be trying to kind of dial down this top line, not really going under the surface kind of thing, and taking control of that. So looking at the lines, we've got the Hierophant, Judgment reversed, and Knight of Cups. Like I said, there's trying to figure how things are done. It hasn't quite been clear. Also, you might feel like a lot of the stuff is in your court right now, versus being able to just kind of do stuff. Like, hold on. Okay, Aquarius, part 2. So, my ACU absolutely went bonkers. So, I didn't want to ditch the whole reading because it was like, if I didn't resonate with it, I would have dropped it. But I'm like, no, it's like, keep going. So what I was saying about this, the Hierophant, you're trying to figure out how to do stuff. And Judgment reversed, it's almost like ball is still in your court. Like you still have a window to kind of figure this out before anything else gets involved. Also, if you're kind of like looking for things to kind of just fall into place, I don't think it's going to be that easy, because it's not like the universe isn't listening to you. It's just more like, Aquarius, give it a shot. We'll see how you do. We'll check your work in a second. Because with the Hierophant, Ace of Wands, and this thing, Ace of Wands is doing stuff, but it's also beginning to do stuff. Also, does it have direction? Does it have clarity? Does it have anything kind of backing it? Or is it just kind of doing to do? There's a difference here. Also, 10 of Cups on the bottom. So with this, there needs to be decisions made with the King of Swords, which is kind of like a duh card for me too. But there is kind of a need to kind of, I hate to be like bull by the horns, but it is that air sign energy that has to kind of like cut through the BS. If anyone's kind of super in their feels about it, or I'm not even getting like a tantrum, but there could be like a smidge of poutiness, because with this Three of Cups reversed and this Knight of Cups reversed, it's almost like, I don't get to. It's like, no, you don't get to. Sorry. Yeah, so and then the Two of Pentacles down here, there is like a duality, a juggling. Somebody, could be doing work, but they're not doing the right thing that moves it forward. It's like just a little scattered, not really focused and buckling down. So what is this Empress reversed? What's going to knock that out of the loop here? Well, it's the Lovers and the Four of Pentacles. Let go a little. Whoever this is, there's a need to kind of let go, make decisions. I feel like it's all there, or somebody actually could not fear it, but be concerned that if they expose this, like they feel like, I always go back to animals on this stuff, but you know how like animals won't show their belly because it'll leave them vulnerable. It feels like somebody doesn't want to do that because they're going to feel a little vulnerable. That could be the hitch in the giddy up here, Aquarius. So with this King of Swords, what is that about? What kind of needs to be decided? Okay. It's not get away from your family. Four of Swords, 10 of Cups. Just take a break, take a nap, get away from your family. But I also think with the Four of Swords, there could be a need to retreat with people that are family or considered family are, you know, in the inner circle. Stuff that also makes you happy. You know, deciding like, you know, we're going to spend some time with this. You know, it's like you can imagine living in a house, but till you're actually in the house, you can be like, wait, that doesn't go there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like examining how things actually flow versus how you think they should flow. So, I almost get like a group effort thing. Like, I'm not a big group project kind of person, but there's that. And so with this Hanged Man, Ace of Pentacles reversed. It's, like I said, it's not that it's not going to happen, but there's a couple hiccups in between. Because there's too much juggling. You can't narrow it down yet. It hasn't been narrowed down yet. So with this Two of Pentacles, what's that? Tower reversed. I like it. I forget the other sign that got this, but it's almost like, you know, I said like the universe isn't not listening to you, but it's also like, here's your moment. Work it out. Like, we don't want to have to bring Tower. We don't want to have to bring Judgment. Like, you can figure this out. Like, you got this, Aquarius. So give me something on the Hierophant, actually. What is Eight of Swords reversed? Like I said, there's that opening up. There's a vulnerability. There's a, you know, someone's got to show the belly. Yeah, there's the facades that kind of have to get dropped in some way. And the communication part's a biggins. One more on this Ten of Cups. Ace of Swords. Once again, decisions. Being able to cut stuff out. Being able to narrow things down. Also, you have the King and the Queen, so it's almost like if this is a relationship thing, it's all got to work together. But there's a decisiveness that has to be brought down. And the stinking thinking communication and with Justice. So, I mean, I feel like a balance is reached where it is equitable, it is fair, but once it gets moving, it gets going. You know, but the communication is kind of the big thing. Remember how I said there's like train tracks? And this is in the previous reading with the Oracle. You know, you can have a train that shows up at 7:18 a.m. on track A, but if you heard track B, you're not in the right place. So that communication part's kind of like the hitch in the giddy up. Actually, give me one on this Ace of Wands real quick. Give me that. Ten of Pentacles. Yeah. It's almost like pie in the sky a little bit. Like, you think what you're doing is all adding up to this Ten of Pentacles, but you have an Ace and a 10. There's a pretty big spread in between an Ace and a 10. So someone could have like right idea, wrong action, or the wrong action, right idea. Like, it's not quite, like I said, gelling yet. So going on to Lenormand, we're going to do that. And these are straight up Lenormands. There is no other stuff. And we only do one at a time. And we don't clarify. They say what they say. Anchor. Messenger. All right, this is nice. The Fish. Emotions. Also could be a career card as well if we're talking outside of, you know, just relationship stuff. But with the Anchor, there is grounding. It does finally like kind of all come together. And then the Rider is the physical, moving, talking, let's do this. So I feel like once, like I said, you know, once everything kind of clicks, once that combo comes together, it's moving. And once it goes, you might be like, whoa. Yeah. So just keep your eye on that. The Rider's a fast card. And once this part happens, which might feel slow, once that goes through, this is like, boom, let's do this. So Aquarius, I'm digging that. And let's go on to the Spirit Animal Oracle for you. What do we got going on for you? Aw. I'm always like, oh, it's amazing. Swan, Grace. You who glides across the waters of my soul, bring me your wisdom and light. Help me transform into elegance and grace. Inspire me with dignity and the spirit of beauty. Okay, well, first of all, Aquarius, you're gorgeous anyway. But I think there's like that transformational thing, like something that doesn't look good, like that little black swan. I don't know how people can think little baby swans aren't adorable, because they are. But it's that whole transformation part. Like, you don't just start off looking like a swan. Like there's a couple spots in between. A little ugly duckling action going on, but once you get there, get there. All right, Aquarius, that's what I have, and I'll talk to you later.